The film series that won't die. Nearly 30 movies, one house, actually several houses, and cursed artifacts.
The Amityville Horror Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Amityville Podcast. I'm Pat.
I'm Tom, and this week we have Amityville, Mount Misery Road. That's right. Being a low-budget horror movie, they did not feel that the Amityville name was strong enough. They also have to have something tangentially related to Stephen King. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Mount Misery Road was just the title that they went with. And then it's just like, well, let's throw some Amityville on there.
Yeah, we'll see if there's any hobbling, and whether it's out on the road or in a house.
Actually, that might explain the PG-13 rating, is it's all, elementary school cursing instead of actual cursing. Like Annie Wilkes always saying it.
Yeah, the cock-a-doodle car and filth, floor, and filth. No, that's something else.
Filth, floor, and filth. So this, pulling it up now, this is it's directed by Chuck and Carolina Morangelo. And starring Chuck and Carolina Morangelo. And looking at their IMDb, Patrick, this is all they've done.
Maybe.
It's just like 5 people made this movie, and this is all the movie they ever did.
Maybe they had one vision, they had one dream, and it was this.
Why are we doing this? This is just gonna be sad.
They only made one movie, and they spent how much time on it? At least more than the hour and 15 minutes that it's going to take to watch.
At least more than the hour. I mean, we're going to end up spending more than the hour and 15 minutes that it's going to take to watch.
We may already have.
Oh my god. Why are we doing this to ourselves?
To explore all of the different facets of cinema, from the biggest of budget, well, the mediumest of budgets, all the way down to the young artists with a dream in their eye.
That's a fair point. You don't get too many of those where it's just like they only did the one. Or you don't get too many instances of, man, these people were so good, they just made that one movie and then left forever.
They had one and out. Like, you never get, like, if Guns N' Roses had made Appetite for Destruction and then vanished.
Oh my god.
Like,
they would have, oh man.
That would have been legendary.
They would have been the greatest band that ever was.
Yeah.
Just because, dear God.
Yep.
Wow.
We would have lost some good songs over the years, but
man,
that would have been such a baller move.
The overall game, I think, like, a world without seeing what Axl Rose has been doing to himself for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. He's like the Rowdy Piper of, like, rock hair metal.
Yeah, almost maybe a Jake the Snake Roberts of it.
Ooh,
yeah.
Probably. Yeah, people like Rowdy Piper.
This is true.
Nobody likes Jake the Snake. Even though the Kickstarter went well.
Huh, nice. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of, like, on the large scale, there's very rarely a director that makes one movie and that's it.
I always, like, go to the IMDb page for this one person. It's like, maybe they're making another one. The director of Mystery Men, Kinka Usher. Yeah. That was the only movie. I believe it's a woman.
I believe so, yes.
That's the only feature film she ever made, or has made to date. Which I think she did, like, a bunch of music videos and stuff, which is probably how she got Mystery Men.
Gotcha.
But man, what a bummer. What a great visually interesting director. That would have been so much fun.
And great chemistry through the cast, great presentation. I would still love to see a director's cut of that, because apparently first cut came in around 3 hours. Like, a lot of the deleted scenes you can find, but
that would have been nice. That one, the Super Mario Brothers directors, I don't think ever made another movie.
I don't believe so now.
But that one's in that kind of sort of. You can't argue with anybody who says that no, they don't get to make another movie after that, because either you love the Super Mario Bros. Movie or you don't.
Yeah,
there is no in between.
Not so much. And I enjoy its terrible charms, but I understand that it's not a good movie.
Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still buying it. It's coming out, I think Shout or somebody's got, like, a fancy Blu-ray coming out of it in the near future. And God help me, I will be doing that.
See, I just watched the riff tracks of it a couple weeks ago, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But did it look? But was it in 4K?
It was not, but not on the TV anyway as an option. So
That's fair. That's fair.
I've been thinking about. There's been a decent amount of directors that they do documentaries and do one narrative. Like Joe Berlinger did Blair Witch 2. Mm-hmm. After doing like all of the West Memphis 3 documentaries except for the Peter Jackson one, West of Memphis. But like the Paradise Lost trilogy was him. Mm-hmm. A Brother's Keeper, like known as a documentary guy.
Yeah.
And then was brought in just to do Blair Witch 2. There were issues with the studio, to put it mildly. But there's a reconstruction out there that somebody took all their notes.
Neat. Yeah,
and it's
like
fun.
that.
It's much better.
Yeah.
Michael Moore famously has done documentaries over the years, except for the movie Canadian Bacon.
Well, yeah, but it's like you hear about Michael Moore every year. It's like they don't. I know, but
I'm just saying, like I'm trying to think of like one narrative feature is all they did.
That's fair. Well, I don't know. Well, actually, now that makes me want to take away the documentary thing altogether, because you're still trying to tell a story. You're still trying to make a point with the documentary. You're not doing it with fiction.
And I know they eventually gave Troy Duffy another budget, and it wasn't his choice to not keep making movies. But there's a movie.
That's fair.
Yeah. Did you ever see Overnight?
No.
Sweet dear God. For anyone at home who wants to learn about how not to make a movie within the studio system, especially if you're a hot name, fresh up-and-comer, watch Overnight.
Like, more so than Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day?
Well, that's the thing. Like, this was before that came out, so it wasn't really incorporated, but when they were making the first Boondock Saints, like, even from, like, him getting signed on the contract to make a movie, he got with some of his friends, one or two, I think, and said, we should do behind-the-scenes footage from here forward, and they did.
Oh, no.
And as they went along, he was burning every possible bridge, including with the friends making the video, who partway through even said, like, the only reason we're keeping on this is because we do have to document the rest of this now. Like, we got to see this through, but screw this guy. They hated him, everyone around him hated him, and they basically just chronicled every bad decision he made in dealing with people, from being the hot name all the way through basically being told he's probably never going to work again. And then they did make Boondock Saints 2.
I feel like if that movie had been good, he may have had one more shot.
Maybe. But honestly, like, I'm amazed he got that one done after watching Overnight. It's a fascinating documentary. Absolutely highly recommended.
All right.
But, wow, that is definitely how you don't treat people.
Are we allowed to still like Boondock Saints 1? I mean, regardless of whether or not we actually do, which I actively totally still love that movie. But am I allowed to admit that in public anymore?
I'm an avowed Grease 2 fan, and that's not a popular opinion. No gating by the day.
But, like, people hate Boondock Saints now.
This is true. It's true. Yeah. I feel like if you hate Grease 2 at this point, you've just never seen it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But none of that is Amityville, Mount Misery Road.
The one and only. We'll see.
The one and only by the Morangiello family. That's M-O-R... Is it 2 R's? Where'd it go?
I don't know. It is 2 R's.
Yeah, M-O-R-R-O-N-G-I-E-L-O. E-L-L-O. So if we are saying the name too quickly later, we're honestly not calling them Morangiello.
Yeah.
Because that would be rude.
And we have not heard the last name out loud, so apologies.
Exactly.
All right, we're going to go ahead and give this one a shot.
84 minutes on Tubi. We got this.
Yeah, this will be fine. We're back. We're jumping right into this. Usually we'll discuss a little bit before we start recording, but We just have to jump right in.
Oh my god.
This
Oh my god.
84 minutes. It took us
About 2 hours.
yeah, more than 2 hours, I think.
Probably.
Well, no, around about 2 hours to watch. We had to pause a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That was that was the worst movie I've ever seen.
And we got a lot to talk about.
And yet nothing happens. So like we're going to talk about a lot of things that occur in the film. There is nothing even remotely close to a story or a sequence of events that happens in the movie.
Yeah, there's just
Or any narrative one. There's no narrative to the film.
yeah. Now we know that traditionally a lot of woods horror and found footage, which this dabbles in. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Involves you find out about a legend, you go out in the woods and disappear.
The Blair Witch Project formula.
Right. Now take that and boil it down to its essence of literally just a thing I said, and
That's it.
that is the entire plot. Just loosely improvised between a husband and wife team. The wife, who
Carolina and Chuck portraying Bougie and Charlie, respectively. Her
Yeah.
name is spelled B-E-Z-I. They insist on pronouncing it Bougie. Make of that what you will.
the two of them basically improvise their way around this ghost story on what is a vacation film for them. And Bougie, she's not American,
No,
and so she is trying to
it's not
Riff.
like full on. God, why am I? It's not like full on Tommy Wiseau, but it's like Tommy Wiseau's cousin that's been in America longer.
yeah. Bougie kind of reminds me of Butch's girlfriend from Pulp Fiction.
A little bit, yeah, Fabian.
Yeah. Yeah, and if nothing else, on the broken English, and imagine
American enough.
but not American enough to be able to, without any proper training, yes and improvise.
No.
Well, neither of them are necessarily great improvisers,
No.
but she at least is dealing with it not being her primary language.
Which we are taking into account, but only so much.
Yeah. So the film opens.
It's
and I
honestly, this is just like this is again, just to make sure everybody understands. This is a home movie that a husband and wife filmed of going from Florida to upstate New York, and they inserted narrative devices here and there.
Yeah.
That is what this is. I'm sorry.
They figured out a way to potentially write off a vacation to New York
Yeah.
on their taxes.
And good for them.
Yeah.
Bad for us. And the world,
Yeah.
I would think, overall. But yeah.
We open with the opening credits, which are
Based on true events.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did take a vacation.
They did take a vacation. Then we
Opening,
get lots of clip art.
yeah, lots of clip art telling us that Mount Misery Road is a place and that Long Island exists. The Mothman, a very popular legend up in this area that's not at all in, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. I think it's Point Pleasant.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
yeah, they're basically claiming the Mothman for
Long Island.
Long Island, as well as any variation of this Scary Mary, Bloody Mary, Woman in the White Dress, all kind of rolled into one.
Yep.
There's a mythology that,
And also nondescript beast.
Yeah,
We're jumping way ahead.
yeah, but we get shown all of these little maps and stuff,
right,
and then
yeah.
a street sign that says Mount Misery
Misery
Road.
Road. It's a real street and a real place, and it's going to take us conservatively 3 minutes to read Mount MT Misery Road RD.
Yeah.
Because we just stay on that street sign. and we go through basically all of the filters in iMovie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except sepia.
Goes,
oddly enough, not sepia.
No, they went straight to red.
Yeah.
So after that, like, we get, once your reading level has been, pushed back to very slow, they give us a giant block of text that fills up the screen with not quite enough time to read it all.
Nope.
That tells us that there is history.
There is history.
History exists, and over the years, things have happened.
And then the obligatory 5 minutes of driving around in a Dodge Challenger.
Yeah.
Because what is a low-budget, truly independent movie without lots and lots of driving footage?
Yeah.
And then he goes to sort his mail. Oh my god, I hate this movie so much.
So the plot kicks into gear when he gets his mail and finds a note saying something about, but it's okay.
Honestly,
so then,
again, I'm sorry, I have to stress enough. It's literally 5 minutes of Charlie driving around in his red Dodge Challenger SRT. You see him pull into his McMansion, get out of his car, walk to the mailbox, unlock the mailbox on the street. The normal street neighborhood mailbox has a lock on it. Take the mail out, relock the mailbox, walk into the house, go put the mail on the counter, and then from behind, like, we're not even seeing the mail that he's looking at. We're seeing the back of the mail. He's literally sorting through it for a good 30 seconds before he finds the letter that says, almost verbatim, "Hey dude, spooky shit up here."
So included in this letter are a bunch of photographs that his friend Mike, I believe, but his friend has found orbs in the forest.
There are all these orbs. You know about orbs, don't you? You're not stupid. You know orbs.
Yeah, so being familiar with them, you probably know what they look like on film. Usually they are little, like, lens flare bits. That's what they look like, whether you want to debate what they are, or it could be light artifacts into smoke. It could be... There's a lot of things that orbs could be. One of the things it is not is dirty glass.
Yeah, it's just an unclean lens guy.
Yeah, it is just spots all over glass. It's... You just drove in the snow and you got a lot of salt spattered your windows. That's the orbs that are on picture after picture that to this guy are proof of the supernatural, and we have to go figure it out and discover it for ourselves. And while we're at it, keep an eye out for Mothman, Demon Beasts, and Mary.
Psycho Mary.
Yeah. Who they seem to know about and then don't know about on and off intermittently through the film.
Also, and if you notice, no, we didn't mention anything Amityville, as does the film.
Yeah.
This has nothing.
Long Island's about as close as we get.
Yep, nothing to do with Amityville. They don't even mention. They don't mention anything.
There are flies at one point.
This is another instance of Patrick disguising.
I didn't
just
know.
wanting to hang out with me with the the pretense of watching another fucking Amityville movie. I love you, Patrick. So enter, as he is sorting through his mail, enter his wife, Bougie, who appears to be a mail order bride of some sort.
Yeah.
She is very, very fit, very, very bronzed, very bleached blonde, speaks English very well, but has a slight accent. And
strong accent. It's a pretty strong accent.
It gets stronger over the course of the film. And it was kind of quiet in the beginning, and it's like
I guess it become it's definitely more pronounced as it goes along.
But she is really into this, and man, we got to go check it out. It's like, finally, we can go on this vacation that we've been saving months for. They have these people that live in a McMansion in Florida and have, fancy muscle cars, have been saving for months to visit upstate New York.
And go on a walk in the woods. Months they have been saving.
Months
to
they
go
have been saving.
on a walk in the woods in Long Island.
But before that, let's go get lunch.
Yeah, well, before that, we are given all of the things that they want to look into with several minutes of them scrolling through the internet, air quotes. And it's just them pulling up article after article and image after image.
Yep.
Not long enough to read any of the articles because, that valuable time was spent on driving.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Ken Burnsing over these internet Mothman art.
Mm-hmm. And in the closing credits, they did seem to try and credit all of the original artists, whether they contacted them or not.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But they, they just scrolled the internet and got their production value off of whatever they found for a couple minutes. And then they go to lunch.
And for the next 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to be watching Bougie shake her ass in just a normal restaurant bar to the tune Shake That Booty For Me, performed by Chuck Mangiello.
Yep. And she is dancing to him in shots. She is dancing POV to us.
Yep.
But not found footage. She's just...
No, not at this point.
Yeah, this is... The fourth wall does not exist in this movie, nor does, and I'll get to it later, the fifth wall, which I did not understand was a thing until I saw it happen. But yeah, she's dancing towards us and looking at us, and then we'll cut to another angle where she's just dancing and shaking that booty for me and all of the rest of you.
Yep. In the background is some dude drinking his beer.
Kind of occasionally glances over at the camera.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have suffered through Howling 7, imagine some of the line dancing scenes, except it's just one girl.
Yep.
Dancing for her husband.
And this is like the local. It's not a TGI Fridays, but it's the local neighborhood equivalent thereof.
Right.
And it's the middle of the afternoon on a weekday.
Yeah.
There's nobody in this restaurant. And this girl who is like in Daisy Dukes and midriff up to her undercleavage, just giving this guy a lap dance.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah.
It made me uncomfortable. What the fuck?
And when we say there was nobody in the bar, obviously we mentioned there's the guy behind them that looks over. There are also patrons occasionally drifting through the background who sometimes will have their faces blurred out, sometimes will not.
Yep, we did not get any waivers signed for any of these people.
Yeah, and it looks like customers they didn't bother to blur out, but any staff at the restaurant they blurred their faces because they might recognize and raise a concern.
This was the compromise. It's like you can film in this bar because who cares, but blur everybody out.
Blur us out, and as we found in later locations, we're not going to stop our business for the day so you can shoot here.
No, they are not. But so after the booty shaking, we get the guy that was in the background drinking his beer and looking kind of annoyed. We find out his name is Kurt. And Kurt is from Long Island and knows everything about Mount Misery Road. And we're going to find out all about that as we zoom closer and closer directly into his face.
Mm-hmm. He tells us the story about how in 1840 there was an asylum put up for the insane.
Yeah, because that's the only way you could treat these crazy insane people.
But there was somebody named Mary who was at the asylum who burnt the entire place down and killed all of the staff and all of the residents. And then is described as a crazy bitch.
Yes, this is, of course, after the road got its name from being just a purportedly cursed land in which it would be difficult to travel and nothing would grow.
And it was, I remember specifically them mentioning, it was hard to get uphill there.
Hard to get uphill, so that was why they named it Mount Misery Road. And then they put an insane asylum, which Mary subsequently burnt down.
Mm-hmm. Now, 10 years after she burned down
that asylum,
they built a new one.
Hell yeah.
3 months after the new one is built, it is also burnt down.
Yeah.
And they say that you can still smell the burning and hear the voices. And that there are slaughtered bodies occasionally found there ever since. And
which those are chalked up to the man beasts.
yeah.
And then on top of all of that, there is a Mothman.
Mm-hmm. And there is the white lady in a robe who is apparently
That's
Mary.
Mary. Yeah, that's Mary.
But sometimes it's a white dress, sometimes it's a white robe, sometimes it's her hospital garments.
Mm-hmm.
The Mary story changes periodically, but such is the way with urban legends.
Yes.
This is where I made the note for the first fifth wall break. Oh, it's when so they go home from the bar and Bougie
she's a bougie girl.
Yeah. She goes back to the bedroom and breaks the fifth wall where she doesn't look directly in the camera as she walks. She just looks over and stares directly at clearly the director.
Yeah.
As she does her scene. And I gotta call that the fifth wall break. Like, you're not even looking at the audience. You are clearly looking to the director, making sure everything is good as you walk down the hall.
Well,
I've never seen that in a movie.
Well, if it's like...
I probably have, but...
Yeah. Well, if the fourth wall is the audience, the fifth wall is a completely separate audience that the audience didn't even know was there.
Yeah. It's both acknowledging that this is a film and not a reality, and then looking to people in the production, not even necessarily... like.
And then we stare at her butt for 3 minutes.
Yeah. She lays down on Charlie. And,
not to be confused with Chuck.
And she's wearing some Ride High thong.
Yep.
And she just lays down on him so that she is presenting for the audience while they discuss this vacation they're about to go on.
And then she gets up in the middle of the night and pees.
Yeah.
And we know that she pees because we literally watch her get up out of bed, go into the bathroom, pull down her panties. You hear the urination, and then you see her wash up afterwards.
Yeah, like she...
This movie is rated PG-13.
It even pops up several times during the movie on Tubi that it is PG-13. We have watched somebody pee on camera.
Yeah.
Now, you don't see anything...
You don't see a stream.
You don't see a stream, you don't necessarily... Yeah, you don't see any underparts.
No.
But somebody did just pee on camera.
Somebody just peed on camera. Like, the noise, these guys, we hear what they consider special effects later in the film. Or sound effects. This was not a sound effect.
No, this was, yeah.
And then we go to the airport. And my friends...
Oh, wait, well, she has a dream about the moth.
Oh, she does have a dream about the Mothman. Yeah, that was forgettable.
And then she wakes up from the dream... and has glowing red eyes, not as a special effect, just she had red eye from poor photography. Yeah. But yeah, we go to the airport,
and then we spend 5 minutes in the airport and traveling on the airplane. Because again, these are home movies.
Yeah. Now there's a song playing over the whole montage. Bougie has a nice bougie.
Bougie has a nice booty.
Yeah. Now this isn't Charlie singing this. This is Bougie singing this.
Yeah, I think Charlie is singing the song, but Bougie sings the refrain.
Yeah. And it's
terrible.
Yeah.
It was like, in case the Shake That Booty For Me and seeing Bougie's booty wasn't enough of a message for you, this is what we're trying to explain.
Yeah, and this is not them singing it to each other in the scene. This is a song playing over
the airport scene.
Their vacation footage of going through the airport, wandering around, buying some shit, not blurring out anybody else in the airport, getting on the plane, getting pizza on the plane.
Yeah. And this is where the fourth wall starts breaking, because they're playing it very fast and loose as to what is a camera, what is a camera phone, a camera on a phone, and when is it? They're filming it. They're being filmed, or when are they just filming themselves?
Yeah,
because it has not been established as a found footage movie at all.
Actually, quite the contrary, been established as we're watching these people in their lives.
Yeah,
this is them finally actually breaking out their own cameras on selfie sticks.
Yep,
a lot of selfie sticks. This is
oh boy.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if Soderbergh used selfie sticks on his cell phone shot movie, Unsane.
I forget which one that was.
Yeah, I think it was Unsane, but yeah. So they get up to New York and they meet with Mike the Historian at a small diner where we are further experiencing their lack of clearing the location, because this whole movie is shot with in-camera sound. And
which is a bummer.
They did not have the gumption to tell everybody in the restaurant, hey, we're shooting a movie here, can you guys keep it down? So you're trying to hear the dialogue kind of like light shouted over a lot of lunchtime crowded restaurant chatter.
But don't worry, Chuck was smart enough to also add music. There's a musical. Once Mike starts getting to like the real meat of what he's trying to shout over everybody in the restaurant, all this music starts playing over top of him because it's all. Of course, nothing is mixed well, and so it's like, come on, man. I'm trying to follow the movie.
Yeah, this movie is a feast for the senses in that 2 hours at a Golden Corral kind of way.
Ugh. And the conclusion of this scene is Mike the Historian, after giving him a zillion different reasons not to go, which coincidentally Kurt in Florida also told them not to go. Mike says, you have to be a certain level of stupid to visit those woods after everything I told you. This is a line of dialogue from the movie said to the main characters, who are also the writer-directors.
Yeah. Now, he had pointed out that you need to stay away because many have disappeared over the last decades.
Yeah,
like
over the last decades.
Pause intended. Like, he just was trying to come up with a line, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. So after the past decades, which by my math tracks back to 1840.
Yeah, why not?
Well, we took notes on like the characters.
Yeah.
Oof. And there has been plenty of sightings of orbs and Mothman's jumping from trees, and also Mary.
And Mary.
Like, Mary is tacked onto a lot of these stories. Everyone's obsessed with Mothman jumping out of trees. Mm-hmm. Not a Mothman thing. That's Spring Heel Jack and or Jersey Devil, which would have also been more regionally appropriate.
More, but
not entirely. Yeah.
From Jersey.
Yeah. And
he's ours.
Yeah.
Jersey Devil and Jason Voorhees. Those are ours.
And Spring Heel Jack.
And Spring Heel Jack.
Yeah.
I thought that came from England, though.
I thought that it was actually...
I think it started in England.
May have started in England. I know that there were Spring Heel Jack-esque stories from Jersey, if I remember, for something, but...
Fair enough.
We'll look it up afterwards. Either way, we're still more accurate than the movie.
Heck yes, we are. And we're paying more attention to the movie than the movie.
Yeah. So they decide they're gonna, you know,
fuck it, let's go to the woods anyway. Mm-hmm. And all throughout the whole remainder of the film, Bougie is wearing these crushed velvet, pink and white polka dot heart Victoria's Secret
pajama pants,
athleisure wear, sorts of things. So imagine that throughout everything. So, and by everything, I mean nothing, because nothing happens. They just wander. The rest of the movie is just these two assholes wandering around the woods going, oh, wow. Hey, babe, look at this. Oh, man, do you think this has got to be a thing, right?
Oh, no. Look at this. Look at this ravine. Let me spend a minute telling you to look at the ravine.
That's so spooky. Isn't that weird? Look at it. Are you feeling that?
At the one point, they're looking at this air quote ravine, which is just a hill.
It's just a hill.
And imagining the terror it must have been trying to get a wagon train up this specific spot that I just decided to look at.
Yeah. Which is not connected to any road at all. They go off of the Mount Misery Road.
Yeah. They're in just the general area of Mount Misery, I guess.
Yeah.
Although he points out, oh, look over there, it's the mountaintop, and points to a different mountain, which I'm guessing may have been Mount Misery, which means they're on the wrong hill.
I don't think there is a Mount Misery. I think they just meant, like, it's a miserable road on a mountain. That's why it's called Mount Misery Road.
I just know he says, look over there. That must be the top of the mountain.
It's occurring to me.
You're looking at a different mountain.
It's occurring to me that there isn't a mountain called Misery.
It's, yeah.
Even in the movie.
Yeah. So they're looking around the woods for this house.
Like 40 minutes of these people in the woods.
Well, when they get to the woods, immediately they find a bunch of still frames of both black and white.
Oh, right!
Mill house.
Yeah.
This air quote house hospital from the 1700s.
Yeah.
They think that they found this house hospital, which may be the asylum that burnt down in 1840, was rebuilt and burnt down in 1850, and they're looking for the remains of. And this house does not look like any of that, but they have found it, except that they admit that they haven't because they continue to keep looking for it because they are not paying attention to their own story.
Yeah, they say it's a house that, like, people met at when kids were disappearing for reasons.
And then they make sure to mention that Mothman was seen in sightings.
Mothman was seen in sightings.
And then their first major clue outside of the house, they find snow.
Oh my God, yeah. Jesus. Babe, are you seeing... I've never seen snow before.
I have seen snow before.
I love it, Charlie.
We don't have snow like this in Florida.
We don't have snow like this in Florida. And then, with, like, all the dismissiveness as she can muster, Bushi says, I've seen snow.
I've seen snow.
It's like, what the hell what are you getting excited about?
Would stack books in this matter. This is like the Great Snow Migration.
Oh, God, Ray. The snow migrated 1 inch. Or an inch and a half.
So we get a time stamp.
Understand, people at home, whenever I sound like really, really frustrated, like I am always having a good time doing this, but when I sound particularly frustrated, it's that moment in every one of these recordings when I realize we could have just been watching Ghostbusters this whole time.
This is true.
We could have just been watching Ghostbusters again. Continue.
But that's not a podcast.
Isn't it, though?
I know some of our listeners would cross over. But
what if we did just... Okay, whatever number we end up finishing, if God willing we ever get to the end of these goddamn Amityville movies, what if we were to just do another podcast, the same number of episodes, but every episode we just watch Ghostbusters again? I
would worry that we would do to ourselves what the Worst Idea in the World guys did.
Yeah.
And there's a reason they picked stuff like Grown Ups 2 and Sex and the City and all that is...
Oh, sure.
They didn't want to ruin a movie they love.
I know.
Yeah. I've seen Ghostbusters a lot, but to talk about it after each time would...
No.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to... Yeah.
Anyway.
All right,
we're so far away from
12:34. They
were you writing down the times?
I wrote down the time codes.
Oh, God bless you. They kept showing time codes, and this will be important for when they drop the found footage gag. But keep doing the time codes.
So at 12:34, they check out the ravine. Then they find a black cross in the wood.
Oh my God!
There's just
maybe this
a necklace.
Is a warning.
Yeah. I mean, here's a necklace hanging from a branch that has a wooden black cross
That's spooky.
It's spooky for anyone who is...
This is what they're saying.
Unaware
This is the dialogue in the film.
They had... their characters had never seen Blair Witch Project, but at least the creators are smarter than their characters in that they may have.
Yeah.
So, and then we cut ahead, arguably, to 240, where they find a rock foundation.
This looks like this looks like the foundation of a hospital. Oh, babe, you're totally right.
Yeah, these broken up cinder blocks, maybe about a half dozen of them, are clearly this must be the entrance.
This must be the entrance. And look, there's a burn mark here.
There is a burn mark on
a burn mark.
This 150-year-old rubble. There is a spot where something looks to have recently been burned.
Yep, he actually spreads the ashes.
Proof. So then we get the Mary story again. This time we find because Bougie
asks for it, even though she has been present every time they've gone over the story.
Yeah, she was there for the entire lunch where the guy, the stranger at the bar, spends like 5 minutes staring directly into the camera, telling you the story, except when he looks to the side of the camera for either cue cards or to talk to the character he's supposed to be talking to.
Yeah.
It's very confusing whether
Don't
he's
worry.
talking to us.
We were distracted by Ewan McGregor being on the television in the background of the shot.
Oh, right. Which accidental thematic moment. It was a commercial for a movie that Ewan McGregor directed.
Yeah, called American Pastoral.
Yeah.
I had never heard of it either.
No, but the reason we say it wasn't intentional was because they clearly did not have that kind of control over the bar.
Nope. And or don't know that they might get sued at some point.
And or don't understand themes.
Yeah.
You know.
Anything involving a movie they did not know.
Really did not.
So we find the rocks, and then
they find the house. Mary is wandering, sometimes in a white hospital robe, because these woods have been haunted for 200 to 300 years. Is now the number we're given.
Yeah,
we're on Transformers 5 timeline calendars of the Dark Ages existed at 800 to 1400 AD, except when it wasn't, and it was.
I want to be on record that I, as much as I loathe Transformers The Last Night, I do not think it is fair to Mr. Bay or the Transformers or Hasbro to reference any of those movies in reference to this movie.
I'm just using it as an example of time management.
I am just saying.
Understood.
I am just saying. So then Bougie has to pee again.
Yeah. Not a fetish.
Not a fetish
because we pan away from it.
We pan away from it this time.
Eventually.
Oh, man. Like, it really looked touch and go. I was like, are we going to have to watch this again?
This movie's PG-13 for crying out loud.
Well, where do you think they got the pee from?
Gee, I never thought of it that
way. Winner!
So, while she's peeing, Charlie gets attacked.
And disappears for the rest of the film.
Yeah, we hear when the camera wakes up because it cuts and then
cuts. He had been holding the camera because we had found footage at this point, and then the camera wakes up. But Bougie seems to not find the camera.
No,
or maybe she does, and that was okay. We'll get.
We don't. It's. Undetermined
because we're very as Bougie is wandering aimlessly through the woods, scared out of her mind. She is filming herself very clearly with a cell phone on a selfie stick because the sun is directly in front of her and is casting a very distinct shadow across her entire body.
Again, fifth wall breaking. I've seen boom mics in the shot. Sure. I've seen shadows in the shot of production stuff. I have never seen so clearly pronounced the camera's shadow on the actor's face through an entire sequence.
It goes on for like 3 minutes.
Now, if we're calling this found footage, how do we explain that footage cuts with her footage of her recording wandering through the woods from her POV? It goes back and forth. So apparently she's filming with both cameras, front and back facing, on the selfie stick, even though it's handheld versus smoothed by the stick.
And later when she is being chased, we will see that she is not holding any camera whatsoever.
We never see any camera in the shot except for its shadow. Which basically means you've got about 6 weeks of movie left.
That's the most terrifying thing I've heard all day.
So, since most of the movie from here on out is her wandering the woods, some notes. One, This is a PG-13 movie,
PG-13.
as we've been told several times by Tubi, even popping up on screen.
And yet,
just in her wandering the woods, she drops the F-bomb 21 times.
I'm saying.
I don't think this was PG-13. I don't think they actually submitted it.
No. This was just kind of slapped on.
Yeah. I think they decided they were PG-13 because they also don't know what goes into rating movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also spends the entire afternoon panicking, freaking out, screaming, swearing in her second language, English.
Yeah.
If you're absolutely frightened for your life, do you talk to yourself in a second language you have learned, or do you even occasionally drift back into? I don't know.
I would maintain the veneer of my second language, but I wouldn't hold on to the camera.
Fair.
I always love it. Don't get me wrong. I've seen enough good found footage movies where they come up with a reasonable enough explanation for why the person has held on to the camera.
Oh yeah.
But I try not to be too much of a jerk, a stickler about it, because you went into it knowing it's a stupid found footage movie.
Right.
But dear God, it is a big suspension of disbelief hurdle for me in all of those movies. It's like, you throw away the camera and you run away and you freak out.
Yeah, and by all accounts, she may have thrown away the camera because we still haven't established, is this found footage or not found footage? Are we seeing the selfie stick because it's found footage or because they're terrible filmmakers?
Yeah.
Is this the angle?
It's undefined.
Yeah. Except that the camera drops when Charlie's attacked, so it is found footage, except that it's not always. Continuing forward, I will say that she is good when she's on her own and not having to improvise with another person. She is convincingly scared.
Yes.
I thought she was quite good on her own when she doesn't have to talk to other people and try and follow their lead, I guess.
I agree on the main point. She is better by herself. How I would describe her in all the scenes with Charlie is she is trying not to laugh because she thinks the whole thing is kind of silly and ridiculous.
I can see that.
It kind of feels like not even like that. Like the movie is silly and ridiculous. That they're making a movie. Seems like
this is just for us. This is our vacation footage. Oh God, you're actually going to put this out?
Yeah.
All right. So we jump ahead to 5:47
in the PM.
We jump ahead to 6:40.
Yep.
Because sure. At which point there's growls that we hear in the woods that may or may not be coming from the house in the background that has its lights on that keeps accidentally winding up in shots but is definitely not supposed to be there.
Would have been cool if that was just the Amityville house.
It would have been nice, but it looked like a one-floor house. Yeah. And again, all the lights are on. This is where they were staying when they were shooting it, I am guessing.
Yeah.
But multiple shots drift past it, and at first I thought it might be the sunset, but as it gets darker, you can tell, nope, that's just a house with the lights on.
Nope, just a house with the lights on. That
she does not see, and anyway, it gets darker, there's more growling, she's still wandering the woods, we see her carrying the selfie stick. No, we see her wandering the woods, but then we get POV, but then we get night vision shots, but then we get night vision in color, at which point, while we're 10 feet behind her, the cameraman gets attacked.
Yeah.
As if Charlie is holding the camera. Whoever is holding the camera watching her in the woods gets attacked, the camera drops and hits the ground and goes to leaf footage.
Even though it was clearly supposed to be, it's supposed to read as if Bougie has dropped the camera.
Right, but she's not holding a camera, and the camera shooting her is the one attacked and left on the ground.
And also, if she had a cell phone, why isn't she using the flashlight?
Yeah, she tries to make phone calls multiple times.
Yeah. No signal.
I was told there's no signal, but I'm not. What if I try over here?
Literally dialogue from the film.
Yeah. So this arbitrary cameraman.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cameraman's attacked.
The cameraman is
The cameraman is attacked. And then the next day, or at some point a day,
Yeah.
some guy wandering through the woods having a smoke.
I really wanted him to, like, introduce, like, for some reason be talking to himself and introduce himself as, like, Bob Amityville. Or just something really tacked on and dumb.
Anyway, he finds the pink pants. Then he finds the still
all
running camera.
all that's left of Bougie are these Victoria's Secret pink polka dot pants. It's amazing.
And her camera that was not her camera.
Yep.
That my head hurts.
And then all of a sudden, Mary shows up in the white robe and attacks the dude.
Yeah, straight at the
end.
camera.
Yeah, straight at the camera. The end.
The end, except it's not the end because then we see the woods and Mary in the white dress, not robes,
Just wandering. Could be robes.
Mary in white.
Could be robes.
Yeah, is wandering in the background of the woods. Roll credits.
In which the names Chuck and Carolina Marangiello appear, how many conservatively?
More than there are Amityville films each.
Yep.
They credit themselves as the directors 2 or 3 times.
At least 2.
At least 2.
In the end credits.
In the end credits. This is not including
the opening credits.
It's just their names over and over and over again with occasional blocks of thanking other people, like the artists.
They thanked all these free sound effects boards that they used.
They thank other people that popped up, the scant few other actors in the film. They thank their car.
They thank the car. They thank Django Marangiello.
Yep.
Who will later be in memory to Django Marangiello by the end of the film. The end of the credits.
Yeah.
But before we get to the end of the credits, we have a few random shots of what I can only imagine were the actual research that the Marangiellos were doing for the movie. They appear to have gone to an actual historian
or library or something,
something with actual historical documents that need to be handled proper, with white
probably where they got those
everything.
opening credit shots.
Yeah.
It is clearly Bougie or in or out of character with white gloves on, never appearing on screen, but voice unmistakable. Kind of just saying,
God, that was her voice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like saying, these are the documents. Oh, this is the place. But none of it adds up to real sentences per se.
Now, would have thought this would be a last minute twist ending sort of gag, but
nope. It's just shots of them in a library saying, "Oh, this looks interesting."
Yep. And then mercifully, the movie ends, for reals.
This was a hell of a thing.
Yeah, it is simultaneously the worst movie I've ever seen, but also one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen.
Front to back, we were in shock. We were laughing our asses off. We paused this a lot to make sure we had just seen or heard what we had just seen or heard.
I think this is the first time Patrick threw things. I've thrown things a couple of times during the course of this, but this is the first time Pat was also throwing his pen and notepad down.
I had definitely, at one point, I noticed that my arms had curled up like a T-Rex in some weird spasm of disbelief.
These are, if you can see it, these are the bite marks from when I was just grinding my teeth on the notepad here.
Definitely the most notes either of us have taken on something in a stretch.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And
this is 2 pages.
Yeah, and again, pausing periodically to make sure we took accurate notes for some of the lines and all that. That ends in perfect contrast to last week's, which was
Awakening.
Yeah, a completely functional, professionally made movie that we didn't really have much to talk about or say. It was just a movie. It was there. It was fine. Everything was right there. This was fascinating.
It was so... if it were even slightly on purpose this bad, that would be an amazing thing. That it's unintentionally this bad, it makes it also hilarious, but, for different reasons. Like, this is, I wanted to retitle this Amityville The Room.
Yeah. I want to share this movie with people, but I don't want to recommend it.
No.
It's a tough call because...
It's 84 minutes. You can't... It's the room protocols apply. It's not a thing you recommend to watch. It's a thing you recommend to screen with at least 5 people all drinking and making fun of the film.
Yeah, this is a group watch movie. If you obviously The Room is pretty well known, but also if you're a fan of Neil Breen movies or God, I'm trying to think of some.
God, we have watched a lot of these.
We really have.
I'm going through the notes. It's just seeing how many. It has been a while since I've had a 2 pages worth of notes.
Yeah, we're in the 20s. I know that.
Yeah. Oh. I was at the Walmart and I see some of these movies on sale and it's no, things that are upcoming and it's no, if we spend money we lose.
Yeah. And a lot of them will wind up being on Tubi.
Yeah, so it's you can't recommend it for actual on its merits, but it's a thing to see.
Yeah.
This was, God help me, it's entertaining in a, I don't know why I like grinding gravel into my body, but I'm doing it anyway for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked.
Sucked. It was definitely one of the,
it's
most poorly put together movies I've ever seen. And it was just entertaining as hell.
It's jaw-droppingly bad. You'll see this. You go into the movie with the assumption, well, it's going to be a movie, and it's nope. This is finger painting presented as a film.
It's a vanity project, but I don't think it was meant to be released until they started putting it together. I don't know. I don't know what their intent was. I don't know what their path was. I just know that it doesn't look like they actually planned to make a movie.
Bougie definitely did not think they were making a real movie that other people would see.
Yeah. And then they wound up finishing it and getting it distributed, which, as I pointed out early in the film, if and when we do decide to make our own Amityville movie, we can get it distributed. I have zero doubt about that at this point.
Done.
Because this is up there. I just have to find out, I guess, what the submission guidelines are for Tubi.
Yeah.
This
on the commercials, they're saying that they want Baltimore to know about Tubi. I keep seeing commercials. It's Charm City, come to watch Tubi.
Huh.
There's all these YouTube commercials lately.
Weird. I have not gotten them on my feed, but I also skip the commercials fairly quickly.
So do I.
So, all right. Well, you know what? We should represent.
Yeah.
We'll get the Baltimore Amityville.
Amityville, Charm City.
Yeah.
Charm City, Amityville. Amityville Anthology.
Yeah. I got nothing.
Oh, God. Let's just stop talking about this fucking movie.
Okay.
Right, resale value is odd. It is high, but with caveats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or high, but don't blame us. Or high because you should be high when you watch it.
I would revisit this much like I revisit the haunted houses down in Ocean City. For those of you not from the Maryland area, Ocean City, Maryland has 3 separate haunted houses that years back my friends and I had declared. One was the Ed Wood house, one was the Roger Corman house, one was the Tim Burton house.
That sounds awesome.
And the Tim Burton house is the one that goes for the big goofy fun, and it's brightly colored, but it's not trying to scare you. It's just here's some macabre goofiness,
Whimsical macabre.
Yeah. The Ed Wood and the Roger Corman ones are both variations of there is no money going into this.
This is what was available.
One of them is just trying to give you some quick thrills, but again, for no money. The other is, we don't know what we're doing here. One of them has, you go around a corner and there's just a red light bulb that buzzes.
Awesome.
And that's the gag for a good, like, 15 feet. Is just there is this one light bulb that is buzzing.
If you understand, you're appropriately scared.
Yeah. Like...
But yeah, you know, this is Ed Wood level filmmaking.
Yeah.
But no spider lady, so bad.
No spider lady, no creature effects, no blood.
No anything. There's no there.
Yeah, like, I would say that there is a shot of a Mothman that they made a costume for.
Maybe.
A shot. Well, they credit the wife as the
Carolyn,
Mothman for a scene. So.
Bougie.
Oh,
B-U-Z-I. It's pronounced bougie.
Bougie.
Wow. Until next week, I'm Tom.
I'm Pat.
This has been Amityville, Mount Misery Road.
I'm going to go get drunk.
Yep.
If you want to interact with us online, you can check us out on Instagram or Twitter at Amityville Show, or you can send us an email at podcastamityville@gmail.com.